So you're thinking about moving to Virginia's beautiful mountains and valleys, and more specifically, Harrisonburg, Virginia. Well, in this video, Leslie and I are going to take you on a discussion about the pros and the cons of living in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to share with you one of the biggest pros of Harrisonburg that a lot of people don't think about sometimes. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. And we're going to get started right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Virginia, from its beautiful mountains to its valleys and in towns like Harrisonburg, then click on that subscribe button and touch that bell so you can be the first to be notified about all the market information in Virginia's mountains and valleys. Hi, my name's Stephen Gleason, along with my wife and partner.
And I'm Leslie Gleason.
And we get phone calls and emails every day from folks just like you who are looking to make a move to Virginia's beautiful mountains and valleys. And we absolutely love getting those calls and helping those people. So whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, just pick up the phone and give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. The information's in the description down below, and we'll be happy to help you make your move to Virginia's mountains and valleys as smooth as possible. Now, as I mentioned in this video, we're going to take you on a tour of the pros and cons of Virginia. So I think one of the things that when we start to talk about the pros, is one of the things is the location, okay?
Of Harrisonburg?
Of Harrisonburg, yeah. And at the same time, it's a con. I think as a pro, it's located right in the middle of the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia. So it's the midway point between Winchester on the north end and Lexington on the south end. And so that being said, it makes it the largest city in the Shenandoah Valley. So Interstate 81 travels up and down right through the city. And if you're going east to west, you're going to take Highway 33 across the other side of the mountains down into Standardsville, Ruckersville, Virginia, and just a little south of there, Charlottesville, Virginia. So it's very easy to get up and down the Shenandoah Valley from Harrisonburg. Another thing about it is you're about 2 hours away from Washington, D.C., which it's kind of on that edge of, not real close to a major city, but you're far enough away to have an urban lifestyle in the city of Harrisonburg, and then a rural lifestyle just outside the city of Harrisonburg. One thing about it, too, though, is that it's the airport. Whenever we have to take a major trip and travel to an airport,
we have to travel at least 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes away to the nearest major airport.
Yeah, and now there is a regional airport, a very small one here in Weir's Cave, here in the area, and it is serviced by Contour Airlines, which is a subsidiary of American Airlines, and it's basically flies connector flights to Charlotte, North Carolina. So you can fly out of the area. Matter of fact, JMU flies out of that airport, and it is growing. But if you're, obviously that's going to be more expensive. So if you're looking for a budget airline carrier like Southwest or Spirit, things like that, you're going to have to go into the Washington, D.C. area to find that. So I really do believe that the location's a pro because of the transportation, but also because of being in the Shenandoah Valley. It's beautiful. All times of the year, it's beautiful. And at the same time, it's a con because when it comes to the airline travel. A couple other things about Harrisonburg, I would say another pro of Harrisonburg is one of the things I'm going to let you talk about, because I know sometimes you actually like to do it.
Sometimes shopping. Let's talk about shopping. Are there major stores there in Harrisonburg? Absolutely. There are Targets. There's a Target at Kohl's, a Penny's. There's a mall there. There's a Hobby Lobby if you like to craft or decorate.
Yeah.
It's big and it's really nice. There's also some really small business owners that are in downtown Harrisonburg. And we've had an opportunity to visit a few of these. And I'd like to highlight just one of them. It's 10,000 Villages is the name of it. And we went in there a couple of weeks ago.
A week or two ago, yeah.
And they are actually a fair trade store. They are a nonprofit, and they have a variety of different goods from different places. And they have some really unique gifts of varying prices if you want to go in there and shop them.
Yeah, and it's the different artisans that make these products to sell here, and they're coming out of developing countries, and so that money goes back to those people
It
who are
does.
making those arts and crafts, and it's a really neat place to visit. So, and that's in downtown Harrisonburg, right,
Mhm.
very near the Port
It
Square
is.
in downtown Harrisonburg. I think when we're talking about the more pros about Harrisonburg recreation, some of our other videos, if you watch them, I mean, anywhere in the Shenandoah Valley, you're going to get great hiking. You've got the Appalachian Trail. You've got Massanutten Ski Resort right near here. You got Bryce Ski Resort about 45 minutes north,
No,
and if you want to go south even further, there's Wintergreen Resort. Great opportunities for that. At the same time, though, one thing that often gets overlooked in Harrisonburg is that it is very bicycling friendly. As a matter of fact, Harrisonburg is known as the capital of bicycling in the Shenandoah Valley, and it's won major awards by bicycling groups. For example, the League of American Bicyclists, which was founded in 1880,
that's crazy.
they have ranked Virginia in itself as the seventh best state for bicycling. So, and of that, they've given awards to Harrisonburg for being one of the best towns to bicycle in. Another group, the International Mountain Bikers Association, they give Harrisonburg a bronze rating.
Rating
And you think, okay, well that's bronze, that's not real great. It's in third place. Well, we're talking about in the world, and
in the world.
and it just kind of lets you know there are only 6 cities and places in the world that get a gold recommendation. There's another 16 that get a silver, and then there's only 18 that gets bronze, and one of those cities is Harrisonburg.
Huh.
And so you've got the mountains near the area. You've had a lot of bicycle trails through town as well, and it's a very, very bicycle friendly town. Another recommendation that it's received on bicycling is from National Geographic, as a matter of fact. National Geographic has listed it in America's top best mountain bike towns. And so, again,
Makes sense.
it is just a really great place to cycle. And as a matter of fact, I just want to go online and I just kind of show you here a couple things about the trails. As you can see, there's a lot of trails east and west of Harrisonburg, both in the Appalachian Mountains on the western side and the Blue Ridge Mountains on the eastern side. If you go down, if you're a person that likes competitive cycling, scroll down here on the website, and this is some of the annual events that they have. And so, whether you're taking a road tour, or whether you're taking a mountain tour, the opportunity is going to be there for you in Harrisonburg. So, if you like bicycling, Harrisonburg is a great pro that you don't find in a lot of other towns across the country.
So one of the other pros
Yeah.
about living in Harrisonburg is the history, the amount of history, and specifically Civil War history. And there are 2 museums that you're going to find right outside of Harrisonburg. And one of them is the Virginia Museum of Civil War, and then the New Market Battlefield State Historic Park. And we've been to both of those. They're very educational. Lots of places for your kids to run if you have littles who want to exercise.
Yep.
Or for those of you who are history buffs, have children who are history buffs, you can definitely go into the Virginia Museum of the Civil War, and you could spend hours in there just reading all the things, looking at all the things in there.
It's really neat. And that's only like, say, 15, 20 minutes north of Harrisonburg and Newmarket. And just some really neat opportunities for if you're a history buff, especially here in the area. One other thing, I'm going to share my screen here with you again. I consider a pro is the cost of living in Harrisonburg. As I share my screen here, the cost of living in Harrisonburg, as you can see, compared to the national average, is low. Overall, you're looking at about 6% less than the national average. Housing is less than the national average, depending on where you're coming from, obviously. If you're coming from a lot of the major cities, larger cities, especially in the north, you're going to find a big difference in the housing market in Harrisonburg. Utilities are about normal, and you can see groceries and transportation is less than the national average. So as far as cost of living goes, Harrisonburg's a great place to live. And you can also see here on this chart just some common things about Harrisonburg as they are currently here as we speak in December of 2022. But kind of give you an idea about the average price of things in the area. Of course, those fluctuate from place to place and from time to time. But specifically when we're talking about houses and how much money you're going to get. For example, if you lived in Baltimore, Maryland, and you made $80,000 a year in Baltimore, Maryland, that's going to be worth about 60. You're going to need to only make about $69,000 in
Equivalent to
Harrisonburg,
it,
yeah,
yes.
to have the same lifestyle of living. And likewise, you see, moving from Northern Virginia, as former residents of Northern Virginia, we know what it's like there. And if you live in
There's a
Northern,
cost of living difference.
there is. If you live in Northern Virginia, make $80,000. In Harrisonburg, you'd only need to make about $54,000 to have the same quality of lifestyle. So, definitely some advantages for the cost of living. Another thing is the housing. The average price of a home in Harrisonburg is going to run you about $315,000 to $350,000. As you can see, Woodbridge, Virginia, which is just south of Fairfax County, and so it's not even in the northern Virginia part, but it's certainly still Northern Virginia. You can see that the average home price there is about $450,000. So what you're able to get for your money, and we have people all the time say, man, we sold our house here, it was little, and now we can get a lot bigger house here. And so you can definitely get more for your money there. I think another pro is the climate. It can also be a con. It depends on how you look at it. Um, bestplaces.net rates it at an 8.7 out of 10 in the summer and a 5.5 in the winter. So if you look, though, on this map, very hot days, you see down at the bottom, Harrisonburg only gets about 15 days a year over 90 degrees. So if you're moving from somewhere in the south where it's hot, you're going to come up to the valley, which is always a few degrees cooler than other places outside of the valley. And it's just a cool place. And I think the humidity, there's days when it gets humid, but it's a lower humidity too. But the one that is the lower ranking, the 5.5, is the snow. And we do get some snow. We get about 2 feet of snow in Harrisonburg. And that the snow that you get in Harrisonburg, though, it doesn't stay on as long as other places, especially places where it's very cold in the north. Matter of fact, you can see here, there's only about 21 days where during the entire winter, where more than an inch of snow is on the ground. So still gives you opportunity to get out and do some of that biking during the winter and walking and that type of thing without having to fight the snow. So while the climate can be a pro, and I think it's a pro because I love cool summers, or cooler summers, the winters aren't as long, but we still get some snow.
Diversity of
Yeah, and we like snow, and we enjoy it for a period of time.
We get them, but we don't like to shop.
That's true. That's true. So, but anyway, I think the climate can be one of the things. There is another con, though, and I'm gonna have Leslie talk about this because it really is a big con and something that is directly tied to the real estate market here.
Yeah, let's talk about how many houses are available currently on the market. So we've seen some shift in the market outside of the Shenandoah Valley, especially, but it's crazy because here in the Shenandoah Valley, we're still seeing a competitive market. We're still seeing a lack of inventory. We're still seeing people compete to get certain houses. And of course, that's based on price, location, and condition of those houses. But the majority of the houses that come on the market, they are seeing, maybe not 20 offers on a house, but we've
seen that though.
But we're seeing maybe 2 to 5 offers on a house, and we're still competing. So if you're interested in a home in Harrisonburg, just understand that you may still be competing in order to get certain homes.
Yeah, and part of that is that Harrisonburg has, the con of that is it's a low home ownership rate. Only about 40% of the folks in Harrisonburg actually own their home. And so why don't you talk a little bit about why that is?
Well, some of the reason is because we are a college town here in Harrisonburg. So we're going to see a lot of kids renting condos, houses, and a higher amount of landlords in Harrisonburg. So that's basically why there is a lower amount of home ownership directly involved in Harrisonburg.
But there's still plenty of homes that are available. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, if you look at my blog video here where I walk around town, I go into 3 different neighborhoods. There's multiple homes available in all sorts of different price ranges for you to look at.
All the way from well-established neighborhoods to new construction.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
And of course the fact that Harrisonburg's a little bit more competitive right now. If you are an owner, one day when you go to sell, if you decide to go to sell, you're going to accrue your value, and the equity in your property is going to be very good as well. So, but that is a challenge, and we've had folks that have had to put multiple offers on homes because they've been outbid, and we've seen a little bit of slowdown, like Leslie said, but it's still very competitive.
It is.
I think one final con, and it's not a huge con because it depends again what kind of person you are, but another con about Harrisonburg, and again, it just kind of depends what you consider a con, but if you want to be in a major city, Harrisonburg is not a major city like a Baltimore or Washington, D.C., and so you miss some of those big city perks. What I mean by big city perks, I mean like a zoo, like large museums, like major league athletics, those types of things. You're not going to find them in Harrisonburg, although you're going to get JMU football, and that's been a very successful program for a lot of years, and it's a lot of fun to go to a JMU game. But those big city perks are for big cities, and you're going to have to go about two and a half hours to get there, which isn't bad. You take a day and you go and you enjoy the city, and then you come back home and you live in the Shenandoah Valley.
Get involved in all of the higher cost of living. As long as you don't mind traffic in the DC area, and it has a lot of public transportation, but you can go see your Smithsonian's and the National Zoo and all those things, and then come home and sleep in your own bed.
That's right. And so anyway, those are some of the pros and the cons, but if you look, as kind of what we've said, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. And Harrisonburg is a really nice town to live into, with a lot of the conveniences that you would expect most places in the United States. So as I said at the beginning of the video, I'd share with you what I believe to be one of Harrisonburg's biggest pros. And I think that something that stands out from Harrisonburg above any of the other towns that are here in the Shenandoah Valley is that its economy is probably the most booming of all economies. While the economy is good throughout the valley, Harrisonburg stands out, and they've done a lot of things for that. For example, they're very friendly incentives. They're very friendly to businesses, and it's easier to find a job in Harrisonburg. There's tax incentives. For example, there are technology zones in Harrisonburg. One is in the downtown area, and another one is in a technology park. You may have heard of the company Rosetta Stone. And
if you're looking to learn a new language, that's definitely one of the...
they're headquartered here in Harrisonburg. And so there's a lot of opportunities, and Leslie said incentives for businesses to come to Harrisonburg, which is just going to cause the city to continue to grow and have more things accessible to people. And it already has a lot, but it's going to continue to help it grow even more, and there'll be even more opportunities. And at the same time, Harrisonburg is laid out very well, where they're doing a good job of developing in Harrisonburg too. So I really believe that the economy and what it has to offer individuals as far as jobs and businesses is one of the biggest pros of Harrisonburg, Virginia. So these are some of the pros and cons, and I hope Leslie and I have helped you out a little bit to understand a little bit more about Harrisonburg and some of the good things and some of the not so good things. And
the good definitely outweighs the bad.
Yeah, and it does. The pros definitely outweigh the cons. And but like I said, if you're looking to move to Virginia and Harrisonburg, or anywhere in the Shenandoah Valley, or anywhere across in the Blue Ridge, pick up the phone and give us a call, or shoot us a text, send us an email. As a matter of fact, you can click on a link below and schedule a Zoom call with us. Exactly. And we'll be happy to get you more information and make your move to Virginia's mountains and valleys a sure thing, where you're confident in what you're doing. So other than that, I guess that's about all we got for today, and we'll see you down the road.
Bye-bye.